Welcome back to the She Grows podcast. We're so excited that you're here with us today. I am Jen Matthews.
Hey, I'm Danielle Doss.
And we've got a great conversation planned for today.
Yeah. We often talk about like how we can interact with you guys, but we would love if you would just take a moment to send and share this podcast. Specifically this podcast, we're laughing because it may not be the one that you want to send directly to someone.
Tag a friend.
Say, I heard this and thought of you. That could be insulting.
It's true. It's true.
And you'll see why in just a minute. But it's such a good conversation and not one that you hear often. So we would love for you to share and put this out there because there's nothing better than sharing God's truth.
Yes, that's absolutely right. So let's dig into today's conversation.
Let's do it.
All right, Danielle, we have got a conversation that I think probably needs to be said way more directly than is often said directly.
Yeah.
But we're going to, I think it's a timely, on purpose, all the things conversation.
Well, and because we saw a statistic, guilty as charged. This is one of those things that I know that we've had conversations on, and it's like, we'll put that on. It's like on the back burner, right? But then whenever you see the statistic that we're about to read, it's like, no, it's time. Like, let's have this conversation.
Yeah. Well, it was so funny because it wasn't funny at all, but it was, I was scrolling through Facebook, and it's not often that I actually just kind of scroll through it because I know that it's just garbage. So, but I was scrolling, and this article title stopped me cold. It said half of Americans no longer view most traditional sins as wrong. Barna study finds. And I was like, what?
Half of Americans.
Half. Yeah. That's a big number. And so anyways, it just got me thinking, and I was like, oh, obviously, screenshotted it immediately and sent it over to you. I was like, look at this.
It is time.
It is
this
time.
Conversation.
Yes. Yeah. So we're digging into a conversation on sin today.
And I like to prerequisite because it is our heart. It's like the goal of this conversation is to just bring clarity.
Yeah.
Yesterday I was having a conversation with my daughter and my husband, and she had said something, and then I repeated it. It was like that telephone game of like, tell me what you heard. And she had to say something multiple times. She's like, you're not understanding what I'm asking. I want clarity. So that is our heart, is to bring clarity to this. And then always ask questions. Always say, okay, they said this. Let's see what scripture, like always even back up scripture from what comes out of our mouth.
Yeah. And also the heart posture that we're coming into this from is one of someone who loves Jesus, right?
Yeah.
So I know that when we approach any conversation, any decision, any lifestyle habit, any kind of opinion on something, our heart and our motive is to please the Father.
Sure.
Like, we love Jesus. And so not out of legalism, not out of following a rule book, but out of love and devotion to the Father, we want to make sure we're doing it the right way. What's going to make his heart happy? What's going to make us close and not put up a barrier between us and him? And
that's exactly
that's
right.
the heart of this conversation, is not to say, hey, we're not sinners, so you don't be one either.
Yeah.
We've all sinned, and we've all fallen short, and none of us are done doing that. Like, we're all going to do something here or there, potentially every single day of our lives, that may fall short of what God would call us to. And he's got grace for that moment. So have grace for yourself in that moment. But we're talking about, hey, some of these things, because of whether it's the way you've been raised or just the culture as it is today, there's things that might not even be registering on our radar as like, hey, God says clearly that makes him unhappy. Like, let's talk about some of these things.
Yeah, that's good. I'm so thankful that you called that out, because I think we were just having a conversation right beforehand of areas that the Lord is just still correcting in me. And I'm like, gosh, I still have such a far way to go. But it really has everything to do with his love for us as his children. Yeah. And if we can do one thing, we want to represent him well. Yeah. And that means the same for you. So we want to be able to help bring clarity, because let's just be honest, 50% is a staggering percentage. Yeah. Where there could be confusion. And so we're going to get into it. Yeah. Everybody's like, just say the thing already. Say it already. All right. Let's just talk about, I've got a list of 10, and there's a lot. And we're not going to go like deep into it all, but we want to just bring awareness and clarity to it. So sex outside of marriage. I just went right on into it.
Yeah, I was like, okay, here we go.
Yeah. Because culturally, one, it's pretty cheap to coexist together without getting married. But we also know that is just an area that the Lord's like, no, this is the beautiful part about marriage, is man and woman coming together. And it's so cool because just even this past week, we had someone come and say, you know what, we've been living together for 7 years, and we recognize that is not God's best for our life.
Yeah.
And they got married this week. And no pomp and circumstance, like they were just wanting to honor God with their lives. Yeah.
That's so good. Yeah, these sins we're about to walk through are the ones that, like, for different reasons, we choose to put on the back burner.
Sure.
To say, okay, well, it's very clear. I mean, God's very clear in his word about sexual purity and the way that's just between a man and a woman in marriage. But whether it is convenience or whether it is culture says, try before you buy, whether it is, well, my desires tell me this, or what, it all comes down to self-control, or it comes down to whatever. It's all of the things we're going to walk through are ones that we just put on the back burner for one reason or another.
That we justify.
Because
of those reasons.
Yes.
So, yes.
So we just kind of want to bring them to light. And that's a huge one.
Yeah.
To be honest, that I think culturally is just made unimportant. And I can't understand. Well, let me, can I read a quote real quick from Barna?
Oh, sure.
Before we walk through the rest of these?
Yeah.
Because I just want you to take into account, like, as we read these, if we're not reading them, we're not going through this conversation to bring shame on what you might be walking through. We're wanting to bring to light the ways that we could walk closer to Jesus. And hey, guys, this is like legitimately part of who we should be, who we are, what God has called out. But Barna is quoted to say the data patterns suggest that the social turbulence common across the country for the past decade reflected in significant changes in family structure, personal relationship, integrity and ethics, faith practices, and lifestyle choices can be traced directly to these shifts away from traditional biblical worldviews on sin. And we have seen a lot of that over the past, like, our lifetime, but this is saying specifically the last decade. Family structures have changed a lot. The way people rely on, not everybody. Know my heart. If you know us, you know our heart. Not everybody, but the way some people will rely on the welfare system and stuff just to try to coerce their way through life without having to do anything. Not everybody. Hear me.
Yeah.
Just abandonment by fathers.
Sure.
There are so many things that have changed in our family dynamics, and that. Honestly, we could go on a whole tangent about the ripple effect of that in every area of life, but not having a solid, biblically founded family structure is at the heart of a lot of this. And so what we're wanting to bring, like, there's just a lot that has fed into this and has rippled down. So as you see and as you hear some of these different areas, think in your mind about, like, hey, well, maybe I really haven't noticed that in the Bible because my dad said this, or because my mom said this.
It was modeled. This is how it's been for all.
Yeah.
I think that the actual, like, phrase that you could think through this lens is that it was created, it was repeated, and then it was just sold until it felt normal. Yes. That is what has happened along the way.
Yeah.
And so the 10 that we're going to talk through briefly. Yeah, it's exactly that. Like, it's our heart to be like, hey, actually, I've seen this, but I don't think that this is right.
Yeah.
And so,
and I will tell you, it's exactly what you just said. Like, a lot of these things sound like isolated small things in a way. They're not, but things like, why would somebody make an agenda out of this? But people have made an agenda out of this.
100%.
Literally decades ago, people that do not follow Jesus and are kind of anti everything of the Lord made an agenda to undermine biblical worldview. And they understand it's the same way they did, like Hitler and them did. Like, it was like, okay, I can't reach this current generation, but I can get the next one because they're getting new information. And so they would make a plan for the generations to follow.
Right.
And this is the same thing that has happened in our country in making these sins comfortable.
Yeah.
Down to changing the way we talk about them.
The verbiage of it.
The verbiage of them and everything. So, just understand that while these feel like, well, of course those sins are in the Bible, the reason you might be comfortable with some of them is not happenstance. It's because we do have a real enemy out there.
Yeah.
And they have strategies, and they have been enacting strategies over generations.
That's right.
And so we're here to combat that. And hopefully this conversation will be like that light bulb recollection moment.
It's like, I knew, but I didn't have the verbiage for it.
Yes.
And this is hopefully going to be an eye-opening conversation.
Yeah.
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 Thank you for bringing clarity
Sorry.
to that. No, yeah, you know me, I like to just get straight into it. But that is helpful to have that preset. So good job, Jen. Yeah.
But you did start with a really big one.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's one that a lot of people.
Hey, and let's be honest, like sex outside of marriage. My husband and I, we dated for 6 years before we were married. So this was a lot of practice, and we were teenagers. So going into our early 20s, and even still, like that conversation of like, how far is too far? And I heard it just recently, actually, because we're parenting a 15-year-old.
Yay.
It is, this is the best way that you can know how far is too far. If your body is preparing itself for sex in the midst of this makeout session or whatever, it's time to pull it back. Just stop. That's a different.
That was a wrong word to use, but anyways.
It's time to stop. It's time to stop. Pull away.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
That's so good to know, because for one, stop asking how far is too far. Like, I hate the feeling
it's the justification. That's it.
Yeah. Teetering on a line. It's that justification of, oh, well, this is fine. This is fine. Technically. But you're right. Like, that is a great standard. If your body starts preparing for more, it's time to stop.
Yeah.
I think it's hilarious because you guys dated for 6 years.
Yeah.
So we dated for 6 months. But
and also older. Yeah.
But also there's it was like, you know what? We probably should just go ahead and get married so we can
marry your bird.
I know. I was like, let's just go on with it so we can get on with it. All right, let's move on.
I will say we have seen a lot of older people get engaged quickly. If it is the right person, yes, you both love the Lord. What are we waiting for?
And there's something about being older that you can see that clearly.
Yes.
And I know people thought we were crazy. We met and got married within 6 months, not just kind of started dating. And I knew everybody around us thought we were psychotic, but I was like, time will tell. Time will tell.
Time will
and
tell.
it has.
All of us. Time will tell.
Time will tell. Fingers crossed. But here we are, about to celebrate 17 years.
Yeah.
I think it is told. Yeah. At this point, it's pretty solid.
Time has told. And anyways, okay. We can go on that one forever. Okay. Talking about divorcing just out of sheer convenience. And I don't say this, and one, I've not walked through divorce personally. I have walked with several people holding their hand through divorce. I think every single person that's ever been through divorce would say, this is not God's plan. This is not how he would have it. This is not like this division, right? That is never God's plan. That being said, there are reasons for divorce. And then there are reasons that is just an inconvenience. And so we're talking strictly to the person that is like, hey, we've fallen out of love.
Yeah.
This person does this and it's on my nerves.
Yeah.
That
I just don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to.
Yeah.
Just don't want to.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's abuse. There's infidelity. There's things that are not healthy.
Yeah.
And then there's giving up.
It's like all of a sudden it's okay to say, well, I'm doing this. This is my form of self-care.
Nope.
Like I'm on to pursue about no. Like in it for life.
Yeah.
We are two becoming one. And I understand there are going to be times in your marriage, 20 years married, there are times in your marriage that you're like, I don't like that person. Remember why you love that person when you got married. And I'm not going to say people don't change. You do change. You should change. You should change and love and respect the person as you grow. But remember that person that you married.
And even if you can't, pray. It is God's design for that covenant to stay intact. So get to a point where you realize, hey, this is honoring the Lord to stay together. God, reignite the romance, reignite a love for this person, reignite the covenant, reignite the friendship, reignite, and he will answer that prayer if you pray it genuinely, because it's his design for you to stay together.
Let's not rob God the opportunity to be able to say, but look what he can do. Look at how he restores. Because I have seen the worst of the worst and how he has restored in ways that I would have never even seen take place. And so don't discredit that. Invite him into that.
It's so funny. I'm having to like contain myself on every one, because every one of these could be a whole entire conversation, but we're going to like,
we literally said we're not going to stay on this conversation.
Know, like, when they asked Jesus about, anyways, there's plenty we could say about any of them.
And maybe we can come back and do more conversation about each one.
Let us know.
That's right. Look at us.
Let us know for real if there's something you want us to dig in deeper, because we don't want to take for granted and leave anything at face value.
That's right.
We'll dig into any of it. But
that's right. This one's a big one. You hear this at, I feel like, every conversation with family or whatever, when somebody talks about the just the right for abortion or not to have abortion, or like everybody has such a strong thought on if abortion is right or wrong, if it's sinful or if it's not sinful. And we're just not going to, like, the Lord has created life. And we see biblical examples over and over. I was reminded of the two women, the two, oh my gosh, what are they called? Midwives, who were told to execute every male baby, and they didn't. And it produced this beautiful, like, blessing for them. Yes, exactly. So, that's just, abortion. Everybody's going to have their own opinion about it. But biblically, the word says, like, it is life.
And it is valued, and it was seen in things. He destined things for that person to do before they were even conceived. So how could you not see the life in that? Of course, it all poses the, this is me trying to not get into a whole nother conversation, but this is where we stand as believers and go, okay, well, there are a lot of reasons that I could see why people have this thought of whether it was abuse or whether it was they can't afford it. Well, that's where we as believers need to step up and help some mamas. Like,
that's right.
There is a whole other side of that. How do you act on the other side? Correct.
There is a like, we're in this together.
Yes, but there is no life worth
glad you said that.
Quenching. The way you're setting it up sounded like something y'all talk about at Thanksgiving. So I was like, she must be skipping this one. That was the look of confusion on my face. I was like, what? Anyways.
Well, listen, if you know, like, it is a conversation that I've had even with other believers. So I know that it is it's a muddy in terms of, like, you care for
your
someone.
Feelings.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
but
but not.
The life is not gray.
That's right.
The feelings are gray.
That's right. Do you want
abortion?
Okay.
The next one is one that, like, I think the statistics for this one was the highest that people actually agreed were a sin.
73%, 72%.
I think so.
73%
agreed that lying or deceit for gain, so like lies, are a sin. Obviously, there's marketing, there's politics, there's all the things. There's plenty of people who don't see it as a sin because, even watching animal videos.
Tell me.
With AI out there, I'll never know.
I'm so mad at this.
If that little penguin with a beret actually went and got a croissant or not. Like,
I saw this one reel just to bring, like, a little laughter.
Just a little levity to the moment.
It was like, it's not going to be some Nigerian that gets me. It's going to be AI.
It's going to be AI.
I'm going to get God. Like, it's going to happen. AI is going to get me.
Y'all. While we can all agree, for the most part, that lying is a sin, ain't nobody scared to do it. So just double check your facts out there. Double check your facts.
73%, though, I think that's worth us all sitting in and being like, okay. Like, we know what is the truth and what is not. Yep. What is a facade, what is deception, all of those things.
Yeah.
And so it's worth just being real and honest with what's coming out of your mouth.
Yeah. And at the same time being on guard for the portion that's not. Yeah. Because, if you've got any, I think even the non-Christians that would agree that lying and being dishonest is a sin, it's kind of like ripple effects of the fact that we've been a biblical, like a nation founded on God for so long.
Yeah.
And that's generally just wrong. But like there's the whole Muslims, it is part of their religion to lie for the greater good. Mm-hmm. So they will lie to your face if they think they can convert you or at least get you away from Christianity or something. Mm-hmm. So while we, it's that like, okay, it's very encouraging that a lot of people still see that as a sin, but it's still, we're in this culture of, but still fact checked all the things. Like,
yeah,
I am on a tangent. It's okay. Well, let's move on.
Okay. I have this thought, but I'll come back to that. That's fine.
I am sorry. This is going to be hard for us, as you can see.
Okay. This one, I actually saw a video on this recently, and I was like, oh shoot. Talking about greed and materialism, mm-hmm. and how it's no different for someone. It's a self-control issue. It's no different for someone that struggles with addiction or struggles with, you name it, fill in the blank, and also can't stop an Amazon purchase. Mm-hmm. Like that, it is this self-control, or a lack thereof.
Yeah,
and that's the heart of it. Mm-hmm. But we would see it as, well, this is like,
what is the deal? Yeah.
Yeah. I love giving gifts. Like that's my love. Like, and meanwhile, you are having a hard time paying the power bill. You know what I mean? Like things like that really, if we could just be a good steward, it's a beautiful thing to be able to purchase and to buy gifts and whatnot, but
within your means,
but also we're called to be good stewards with
and on purpose. Yeah. Good stewards. Yeah. That's exactly it.
Yeah. This one, I'm not excited about talking about it, but I feel like this is the one that needs to bring crystal clarity to.
Yeah.
And that's pornography and just like the sexualized media.
Yeah.
I know at one point it was once seen as taboo. You can't even turn on a TV without a commercial being something that I'm like, I need my son to look away. My 9-year-old boy does not need to see this.
Yeah.
Where pornography is encouraged to help reignite flames inside of a marriage, mm-hmm. where it's encouraged to help with women's libido, like all the different things. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. Short answer is that, the marriage bed's for two. And I firmly believe that that's pulling in a 3.
Yeah.
And I just, it's something to stay away from. And women, I know that this conversation is with women and we're not likely to pull up a bunch of videos, which is what people think.
Yeah.
When you think of pornography, but you're going to find it in your novels. Mm-hmm. You're going to find it in you're reading it, and what we're talking about. Like, I'm not having to convince you here. You know that your body's reacting to it. You know it's smut.
Right.
The commercials for it on my TV are crazy. Like, they just try to make it so innocent. Like, oh, my run was so different this morning.
Okay.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
But like, protect that marriage bed, and that is between you and your husband, and that is it. Yeah. No one else involved. Mm-hmm. The next one I think is important on a lot of levels, but it's disrespect for authority or parents. When you read in Scripture, and God is listing all of these wretched sins, and it says, and they disobeyed their parents.
And there's a lot of wretched sin that's listed in the eyes of humanity.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's included in it because, that's one of the 10 commandments is like, honor your father and mother, and then you'll be granted long life. Like, it's an important piece of the puzzle. It plays back into the conversation we had last week about longevity, like doing this for future generations. Hey, if that generation did something for you, anyways, that's part of it. But I think this, I was raised with respect for our authorities in that, if I came home making jokes about our president, I was shut down.
Yeah.
I was like, no, we're not going to do that. Mm-hmm. I don't care if you don't like them. I don't care if you don't agree with them.
That's right.
That's our authority. So we're going to pray for them. Mm-hmm. We're going to pray that their mind changes, their heart changes, their whatever. So I don't care who's in authority. You might be scared of whatever is happening. You might be whatever, whether that's your boss, whether that's the pastor you have placed your own self under. Let's be real. You can leave if you don't respect their authority. If it's a teacher, if it's your parents, if it's the president, if you're under their authority, you obey, you respect.
Yeah.
But then you pray for them to follow God's ordinances as opposed to their own, or something evil or something questionable or whatever. You can pray the heck out of it.
And I think it's important to say, as I consider this as a parent, I'm not going to say and berate my child with this scripture. I'm not going to say, you do this. But as a parent, I'm going to take on that responsibility that it's not my job to empower my child to be disrespectful. Mm-hmm. It is my job to empower my child to be respectful and honor the authority that's over. Yep. So I'm going to take the role of parenting serious in terms of, you have a voice, but also we're going to use it the right way.
Yeah.
And that happens at my home, and that happens outside of our home.
And honestly, it's by instilling a culture of honor across the board.
That's right.
With your brothers and sisters. I mean, we were taught, you go to school, you stick up for your brother or sister.
That's
you don't be the one making fun of them. You don't, with friends at school, you're going to honor, if they do it sideways, if they can do it horizontally, they can do it vertically. They can understand a culture of honor, period. And we don't demean other human beings. And that's our culture right now. Anybody would rather demean someone else that doesn't agree with them than to show any bit of honor or respect for humanity. There is no humanity in the general public right now. And that's something that we as Christ followers have to work as every bit of us can make a difference in our sphere of influence, by shutting down certain talk or certain actions to show honor to the people around us. And it's an important biblical view, and it's one that is super sidelined right now.
Mm-hmm. The second from the last is profanity and crude humor. And I've had several conversations of hearing people say, well, it's just words. It's just words. If we were to say another word that is profanity in another culture, it still brings that to the table. And so, if I'm walking around and I want everything that I am doing to be honoring and pleasing to the Lord, because it's a heart posture of, I just want to love you well. I'm so thankful for what you've done for me. I want to love you well. Yeah. I want the things that come out of my mouth to be something of count. Also, I am very aware that I'm held to a different standard in what comes out of my mouth. And so it's not something that's going to be taken lightly. You're not going to hear me walking around using Jen, maybe. Just kidding. But it's because, big picture. And all of these kind of point to it. But how do people recognize a Christian? How can they point you out differently in a crowd? That's a big, because the fruit is going to look different. Yeah. And if we're walking around and we are literally just mirroring what the world has, what our culture is saying to do, then how would anybody know anything different? How would they know who to go to? It's
different right now.
Yeah.
Because Brandon, my husband, just was speaking to a group of business professionals the other day, and somebody with all the seriousness in all the world came up to him after. This was not a faith-based anything. This was just business. Came up to him later and was like, you were so engaging. This was so great. And you didn't cuss once. How did you keep our attention? And he was like, this is a joke, right? But it stands out because it's so unusual. Yeah. And it does just, it's little things that set you apart. I've heard Christians make the argument, I guess you would say, that, culture, it's just culturally. It's only a cuss word culturally. I'm like, well, then, so you're telling me you understand that in our culture, it is seen as a bad word, correct? Yeah. And you would like to identify yourself with that bad word just to prove a point. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. And it's why? It's skirting lines. Why are we ever trying to get close to a line when we're called to be in the world and not of it, and to shine in a different way? Yeah. Why? Oh, I'll be more approachable if I say the F word every 5 seconds. No, it just completely demeaned every other thing you're trying to say. Yeah. And I know people are going to, some people, not people in general, but some people are going to make the argument that it doesn't because so many people do it. I'm like, no, I guarantee you stand out as different, and you stand out as a light if you can self-control.
Yeah.
If you can control your language to the point that you can just use edifying words. And it's one that will just I'll watch people do it in one atmosphere and not the other. And I'm like, that's not what we're called to be either.
Yeah. Yeah. My whole thing is like a comedian. This is believer that they're not following Jesus, but to hear, like, we just recently went on a cruise. They did a family show. And they didn't cuss one time. And then yet
they're still hilarious.
And hilarious and so good. And I'm like, why did you feel like you needed to add
when you go to the
that
18
to be
and up
every
show?
other show like that, or every other word? It's just pointless. Yeah. Okay.
You skipped one, and I can't believe it because this is like your superpower. Gossip and slander.
Oh, we didn't. Oh.
We skipped it. And this is like, if you've got a soapbox, it's this.
Yeah, that's so funny. I guess I've already had that conversation in my head. So that's why.
Well, get ready, folks. It's your turn.
Yeah. Hey, listen, gossip and slander. That's probably the easiest, I think, for even in the church world, is to walk around and just say, because it can be disguised as. It can
be disguised, especially in the South here.
Yeah.
Oh, I just need you to be praying. Let me tell you what happened.
And honestly, I see it for what I understand. We are human. We want to know the information. Yeah. We want to, even if it's coming from a place out of love.
Yep.
And sometimes it is respectfully, I can't share that. And we can say that, and it's okay for us to say. It does not mean that you don't love that person any less or any more or anything. In fact, when I have those conversations about, like, let's say somebody comes to me and I'm like, I'm so sorry, but respectfully, you know what? They're going to have that, not the same issue, but they know that I'm a trusted source that they can come to.
Yep.
And they know I'm not going to share that information in other circles.
Yep.
And so I make a joke quite often of, like, if you only knew what I know in my head, like, I feel like I have so many things that I'm not going to say because I respect you. I respect the people that are bringing these heavy, heartfelt, and we should all do that as a society, as a culture, is to respect people. I think believer, non-believer, we've got to see the human in people. And this is an easy way, is to not go around slandering. We have to believe the best. But as a believer, it is on us to set that example.
Yeah. And to be the one that stops the conversation.
Yeah.
To be the one that's like, you know what? This is not ours to share. This is not ours to talk about. To create safe, because everyone around you will recognize, if you're around some real unhealthy people, then they might be like, are you serious? Whatever. Yeah. But if you're around anywhere nearly healthy people, they will go, oh, wow, and take note of it and maybe be the one to do it next time to stop it. Because sometimes, there's been times where, like, I will be talking about something and not even, because my heart is not one to gossip. Like, I'm not going to talk to the wrong person about it.
Right.
But you've shut stuff down before that I'm like, okay, well, I can see why, like, I don't have a bad motive in this, but it's just no reason to talk about it. Let's just wait and see what happens, or let's just wait. Yeah. But it is funny because, like,
you can put it off too. You can say a lot without saying anything. If you're uncomfortable and you're in a room and somebody, body language will even let that person know.
Yeah. No, we ain't talking about it. Yeah.
Moving on.
It is funny because, like, specifically with what we do as pastors, we're privy to a lot of information that doesn't need to go anywhere. And some of that information ends up being knowing that people are pregnant, like, way before other people and stuff like that. And I will be such a vault that by the time that they announce it, I'm like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Like, I've already made myself forget because I'm like, don't say a word. Don't say a word. Yeah. And I'll be like, I had no idea.
Because it is so guarded.
Yeah.
And honestly, I say that I've said something that should have never come out of my mouth before on different occasions. That's why I think it is a sensitive subject to me, because as soon as it happened, I'm like, that wasn't my story to tell. Like, that's not, and it wasn't even in a bad place, but when it's not yours to share, or whenever it's putting someone in a bad light. And sometimes I will have this information, and then my husband will say, you didn't tell me. And I'm like, oh yeah, I did.
They said don't tell anybody.
I wasn't telling anybody. So
if you tell me don't tell anybody, you've got to know what that involves. Danielle and Brandon. My Brandon, I'm not going to go have a conversation with us. My husband and my bestie is going to, like,
unless it's like pastoral. Yeah. Then even that is very protected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very protected. Yeah. Now we can go to the last.
Oh, I genuinely, in my head, we had that conversation.
That's so funny. I think we did.
We did, but it was not then. Yeah.
The last one's probably more of my passion point, but it's pride and self-centeredness. It's, in hustle culture, like what used to be the root of all sin, pride, is now like self-empowerment in itself. Like it's getting ahead. It's making your way. It's hustle culture. It's all the things where that feels like I've got to da da da, and you can just before you know it see yourself as more important than everybody around you.
Sure.
Honestly, down to shopping carts in the parking lot and the way people drive. All the root of the grossest things in our culture.
Yeah.
Is because people are just worried about themselves. They don't care if they're holding up all of traffic because they're texting on their phone. They don't care if somebody who works at Publix now has to walk all the way to the end of East Buda to get a cart because you just threw it in the parking lot.
Right.
Like, it's just even those things that seem so small, I'm like, it is very indicative of your character to say, I am so important that I'm going to be late to your function because I could care less if you have to wait on me. I'm going to leave my cart wherever because who cares? Somebody else can deal with it. Like it might feel like a flippant thing in the moment, but I'm like, yeah, but do you realize the ripple effect of what you just said to everyone else around you?
Yeah.
That nobody else matters. And I see it as the root of the smallest things, but then obviously the biggest things as well. But it's a sin. Like it's in the Bible as a sin. Like it is not, it's something that separates us.
Yeah, you're right. It's funny because I was trying to remember where I was. Dawson and I were off somewhere on Monday, and I just said, it's just shocking to me the amount of people that don't pay attention and that are just assuming like, oh, so-and-so's got that. Like they don't, it really is. It's putting yourself last. It's not even just being so prideful. Hey, we could even become prideful in putting the shopping carts up, like that part of it. You know what I mean? Like we have to catch that part of it. But I had that. It's my fidget. No, I had a little. Anyways, but it's always staying in check with that humility of, and we all have to do it. Like, hey, what does it look of me? Like, how does this look different? How do I show different influence to the people around me? That am I looking any different? Yeah. Are they seeing like Jesus in me and that like, I'm going to put people before me? Even that part of it.
Man, digging into all these, it's real deep, real fast.
Yeah.
And obviously we're well into this conversation and have a lot more to say. We really want to be able to talk about God's point of view of all this, like what the Bible says towards all of this and why it even matters and how we walk forward. So why don't we put a pin in it, come back next week for the other side of the conversation.
Yeah, that's good.